Hey, and welcome back. Right now, I am 33 hours into another fast. And that's not just a number on the clock. It's actually a signal. It's a stage where your metabolism is shifting gears, your hormones are finding new rhythm, and your body is no longer negotiating. It is decided. That's right, it's decided. And tonight, in this check-in, it's a part of the Play Your Own Game series that we started a couple of weeks ago, where we break free from diets, dogma, default thinking, and we reclaim the right to define health on our own terms. So whether you're at 3 hours, 30 hours, or just here to learn, this moment is for you. Let's listen, let's learn, let's lean in. What is this fast really all about? What is it trying to show us? What is it trying to tell us? And how can we reclaim the right to play our own game? Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. Hey, if you're new, also go ahead and put new in the comments because we'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And let you know that we are indeed excited that you're here. If you have questions, go ahead and put those questions in the comments because we want to get to those and answer them as we get through our episode tonight. You know how we do. We've got my monitors off to the side that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. And I've got my report, my Dexcom Clarity report that is right below me. So let's go ahead and pop those up. So I've got my monitors right here. I've got my Dexcom Clarity report that we're going to take a look at. We'll do a check-in. We'll talk about what's been going on in our space, in our community, and just have a good time as we move through this ability or this plan to improve our health and improve our metabolism. We're talking to adults with type 2 diabetes. We're talking to those who want to get off medications. We're talking to those who are interested in reversing their blood pressure and their blood sugars and their metabolic disease and their fatty liver and all of those things fall along the spectrum, and that's where we are right now. So how do we gain clarity, control, and what is the blueprint for going about doing all that? So glad that you're here. Whatever platform you are joining us from, whether it is LinkedIn or Twitch or Facebook, and of course right here on YouTube, welcome to the show. And then if you've seen our content in other spaces, whether it's at your church or community center or at your doctor's office, we are so excited that you are here with us. I do want to say, if you have not been following us on the channel for our strength, strategy, and mindset series that's going on right now, you want to make sure that you get there. Let me pull that up for you. And so we are, remember, this is part of our MOVE campaign where we are doing metabolic optimization via exercise. We're doing working on our body. We've got some bench presses that we're doing there. What do we have? We got some squats that we're working on. All right. So do we do some pelvic tilt? Let me see if I can find that here in the video. Right in here somewhere. We're doing dead bugs. We're doing hammer curls, right? So all of these are things that we're doing with the intention of providing a space for you so that you can continue to work on your metabolism and continue to improve. You don't have to redesign. You don't have to build the wheel again. You don't have to redesign the wheel. You can come and you can plug in with us and have a good time as we provide those spaces. So lots of different things going on the channel. Also, last week we were concentrating on the other aspect of, or the other arm of our MOVE campaign. We were doing our walking because walking is also a big part of what we do. And we just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that just because we're doing some strength training doesn't mean that we're giving up on the walking. And there you see me outside of my office building and walking, and we do some walking, we do some teaching. It was very sunny that day as we were moving around. So make sure that you are not neglecting your walking as well. So both of those, remember, metabolic optimization via exercise. And then if you have not joined us for one of our shout outs and one of our check-ins that we do during the week as we move through the fasting space, you want to make sure you get there, because those are some fun things that we're doing. If you did not join us a couple of days ago as we started the fast, make sure you get back and watch that episode, because this is where we begin the fast. You get to see what my last meal is as I'm about to start the fast. And let me go there, and so you can see. So here's my office. Here I am at the office, and we're eating our last meal as we get ready to get into the fast. And this is a good space if you've been wanting to start fasting, if you've been thinking about fasting, if you've been wondering, hey, how do I go about doing it? Remember, so we're providing all of these spaces where you can just come and you get to plug in and become a part of this amazing community that is building and that is growing. Okay? If you get to our YouTube channel, when you get to our YouTube channel, let's say if you get to our YouTube channel, when you show up now, you will see some different things on the channel itself. You will see that we've simplified the channel. We have taken most of the videos off of the main page, and now you will see two playlists when you go there. One is called Start Here. One is titled Start Here. And this is where you want to begin if you are beginning to walk down this path with us. If you are wanting to know, hey, if I come to the channel, how do I go about getting started? This is where you would go. And so this is what the channel now looks like. And right up here, this is the show that we're doing right now. That's the live. And then down below, you'll see a playlist that says Start Here, Reverse Diabetes and Reclaim Your Health. And this is a curated list of the videos that we've done that are pivotal in you understanding the path and walking on this journey. In that playlist, there is, if you go into the description, let's go right here. So if you go into the description of the playlist, there is a link that you can grab, and well, notice the playlist, it gives you a description of the videos that are there. It gives you how they're broken down and what you should be learning in each of those videos. Okay, and then if you go down to the bottom, there is a right there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab it. Okay, and I'm gonna paste it in the chat. So you can grab that. That's a free PDF that walks you through the process of going through those videos. Okay, so make sure that you get over there and that you take a look at that. When you go, and then going back to the channel, the second playlist that you'll see is this one down here that says this week's video. So if you're coming to the channel and you want to know what's going on this week, where are we this week, this is the list that you want to get to, right? If you've been away for a while or you're just joining us for the first time and say, hey, what's going on in this channel? I see the Start Here, but how do I find out what's going on this week? And this is where it is. And all the videos that we're doing, so this is our main video that we did this week. We've got our strength, strategy, and mindset that we just talked about. And of course, we've got our starting the fast and so forth, right? So there's one that's not quite there yet. That's the one from today. And then, of course, this show that we're doing right now will show up in that list as we move through the rest of the week, and the other check-ins that we're doing also. So lots of things that you can, lots of places where you can just plug in. And the idea is all the things that we're talking about in the Limitless Living Health Action Plan that we want you to become involved with, that are pivotal in helping you restore and improve your metabolism. We don't want you to have to search. We don't want you to have to reinvent the wheel. You can just come and plug into each of those spaces, and that will help you get started right away and move through the space relatively rapidly. All right, so let's go ahead now and let's take a look at blood sugars. And here is my Dexcom. And my Dexcom right now says that my blood sugar is 84. You see this number right there. And scrolling down, this is the graph. You'll see that for most of today, my blood sugars have been below 100. So let me go ahead and put my finger, and we get to see what those numbers are. So upper 90s, low 100s. You see 96, 101, 108, 92. Coming into the morning now, and here's my 5 o'clock in the morning. So 91, 91, 98. And so we popped up, I think the highest we got there was a 108, right? 108, 102, 103. And remember, we are now, at this point, we are 33 hours into the fast, and that is where we have been. Let's go ahead and take a look at, here is my Libre. And right now, my Libre says that my blood sugar is 61. And if you scroll down to right about here, you'll see the first part of that graph is white, and so that means that it's above 70 or 70 or above. And then look at like right about, I guess, noon today, it dropped below 70, and that's why you see that blood sugar, or that graph, is red. Okay. If I look at some of the reports that are here, time in range for 7 days, you'll see that I'm in range 66% of the time. And then down below, you'll see 34%, and the combination of those, either low blood sugars or in range, is 100%. Okay, so the reason that 66% is there is because for 34% of the time I've been in low, and that makes sense because we are fasting, and the time when we're fasting, those blood sugars, of course, will be lower. Let's get out of this one and let's take a look at another report. And here is my average blood sugar for the last 14 days. You'll see there that the average is 82. And that corresponds to with what you're seeing on the graphs right here. Okay? All right. So now let's go ahead and let's take a look. And we want to take a look at my blood sugars according to my finger stick and what my ketones are. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. If you're out there, go ahead and drop into the chat. What do you think my ketones are going to be? Once again, 33 hours. And while you do that, I'm going to grab out of our container. I need a brown strip for the Keto Mojo for my blood sugar, and a blue one for ketones. I need a strip for the contour. And then I need a Lancet, and I'm going to grab 2 of them just in case. And then I'll get the rest of this back over there. All right, so let's go ahead and going to get a strip out for the contour. Get that in here. And just go ahead and drop in the chat, in the comments, what do you think those ketones are going to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up, this is for the glucose. And I'm also going to go ahead and open the one for the ketones, because that's the one that's always giving me some trouble. Let me do it this way again. See? And there you go. As soon as I said that, so I'm going to get this one out and just have it off to the side. And then, as you know, I don't use a Lansing device. I just use the Lancet. So let's go ahead and pull that open. And ow. And I hope that gives me a good, there you go, a brisk drop. Get that one started. Go ahead and get the contour started, and then I'll need to keep a drop for the, ketones. And so 64 is what the Keto Mojo says. 61 is what the contour says. And then if I get back over here, you'll see that my Libre says 61. Now if I go to the Dexcom, notice the Dexcom is about 20 points higher than the others. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this strip out. Get the one for the ketones in. And get that started going. And I see some people are already starting to drop some guesses in. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So I see some folks out there. And so what some of your ketones are. So 3, 2, 1, and 2.0. So 2.0 is what my ketones are right now. And let me go over. I'm going to pull up this is my Keto Mojo app. And let's see if we can get that to sync for us. Get this off of the screen. And syncing that because I want to make a couple of comments. And so finished. And so right here we're looking at, now I'll go over to this view. So we're looking at these three numbers, right? So that big number that you see there right in the middle, and then down below in the kind of reddish brown, that's my blood sugar, what it was right now, and then in the blue is the ketone. Okay, so those are the three numbers that we're looking at. The GKI, or glucose or I keep saying glucose management, but glucoketo index is a ratio of the glucose and the ketones. And you may be watching that and you're like, wait a minute, that is not, if I divide 64 by 2, I don't get 1.7. So let me hop over and I'm going to pull up my calculator and we'll kind of walk through that together because it is a calculated number. And so here we are. Let's go back here. And so if I take the 64, I have to convert it to international units, divide that by 18. And then, let's see, what were my ketones? I don't remember. So 2.0. And then divide that by 2.0, right? That gives me a number, and that's the number that you see right in the middle, right about there. Okay, so 1.7. So with these three numbers, we want the GKI to be as low as possible. And if you recall, when we ended our fast last week, it was actually 1.0. We want the glucose to be low, and then we want the ketones to be as high as possible. Normal ketones are less than 0.5. Ketones that are 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and of course above that considered to be therapeutic ketosis. And so if we're doing fasting mimicking diets, if we're doing ketogenic diets, and of course here if we are fasting and we are looking for those metabolic benefits, what we want is we want those numbers to be we want the ketones to be above 0.5, right? So 0.5 or higher essentially is what we want to do. And so as we're going through that space, those are the numbers that we're looking for. If I look at the graphs, and let's see, so here we are right now, ketones of 2 and glucose of 64. But over here, if we go back, this is where we were on Monday. So glucose of 108, ketones were at that point down at 0.3. So as the blood sugars are going down, right? So 108 down to 64, the insulin in your body also is dropping. And when insulin is improving, when insulin is going down, then that allows our body to begin burning calories from fat cells. And so that is what we want. That is where that's the space that we want to be in. And that's why I get excited when I see those numbers, because that means that in order for my ketones to be up, when my blood sugar is low, my body is burning fat. Right, it's burning fat. All right, so now let's take a look at blood sugars, and we're gonna scroll over and see what's been going on with my blood sugars over the last several days. So here's my average 14 days is 14 days with 105 average blood sugar. We usually tell people we want that to be between 100 and 120. So that's in keeping with that. My time in range is 95%, with the range being anywhere from 70 to 180. My glucose management indicator is 5.8. So if I were to get an A1C, then my A1C should approximate that number. If I change that to a 90-day view and see my average blood sugar over the last 90 days, 114, once again between 100 and 120 is what we recommend. And I'm in target 99% of the time, target being anywhere from 70 to 180. And my glucose management indicator is a 6.0. If I look at the actual graphs over the course of the last several days, let's go back and let's start yesterday. Okay, and we did, if you want to see what was before that, go back and watch our show, our Monday show that we did this past week. But right here is where I started my fast. So I was eating right in this space. And so started my fast with blood sugars, let's say average, let's say 100, okay, so 99. And then from that point, right, and pay attention if you are interested in how food affects the body. This is actually a good correlation. So go back and watch the show that we did where you saw what I ate as my last meal, and then you can see what the blood sugars did following that. And you see here the blood sugars, we went up to about 109, 116. Looks like that was the highest that we had there. And then they started coming back down, 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 down. 106. Here's a 109 or 115. And then continued dropping for the rest of yesterday. And then into where we are last night, right? So midnight's right about here. And so we're in the 90s, 100s, low 90s, down into the morning. And 6 a.m. And notice that we still had a little toothpaste effect, but not as big as we normally would have, right? So we made some changes there. I think I mentioned that to you. And then from then on, we've been in the low 100s, 90s, 90s, and falling down into where we are now. And the 80s actually started, probably about what? So here we are at about 24 hours. That was 24 hours. And right about 24 hours, the blood sugars dropped from 90s into the 80s. And then they've continued in where we are right now, and then actually down into the 70s on some occasions. So we're expecting that number to continue going down as we continue the fast, for this week. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members. I see you guys out there. So let's pop over. I think I saw Jiyon was the very first one that popped in. So Jiyon, she says, hi, Doctor and LLG. What's up, Jiyon? Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. And then Jennifer says, howdy all, 33 hours into my fast. Jennifer, yay, congratulations. Get you a hand clap and some music. And then we see Steve. Steve says, hello, ladies. Steve says, that's great, Jennifer. That's right. So congratulations for that. And then Steve says, just checked my ketones, 3.4 were the ketones with a glucose of 100, GKI of 1.9. So yay, Steve. Steve, get a hand clap for you. And then I think Steve was guessing what my ketones would be, 0.6, and it actually turned out to be 2.0. So yeah, exciting about that. And then Cornelia says, hello, doctor and everyone. And then says, all right, LLG, my ketones were 1.7. Glucose was 95. What? Once again, right? Look at that, y'all. This is it. This is the community. So you're seeing this in real time as we're moving through this fast together. And that's the beauty of what we're doing. As I said, we have so many different places where you can come and plug in and just begin your journey with us. You know, we've got the 100-day walk to consistency. We got the strength, strategy, and mindset. We've got the check-ins that we're doing. We've got here on the show, you can come in and drop your ketones, drop what your blood sugars are, drop what your weight is, right? So that's the other one that we're going to talk about here in just a little while. And then Steve says, I like my GKI below 2. I love it. Right, so when your GKI is below 2, that means that, yeah, we're well into ketosis. All right, and then let's take a look at one more thing, and then we'll get into our discussion. And so I want to go over and pull up. So this is my weight, and as you guys know, this is one of the parameters that we track here as well. And so here is my trend. Right, so here we are. We're at let's see, that was the year, so that's not what I wanted to show. But let's go to the month. Yeah, here we are. So here's where we are. Well, let's start there. Let's go back to the year. Let's get back here. Let's go back to the year, and we'll take a look. And so way out here, this was now that was several years ago, and that's the weight is 260. 260 is where it was, and I want you to notice that as we're dropping. So we went down and we went up here, right? So 260 down to 233, up to 245, and then down to 229, and then up to 240, right? And then we've been on that downward trek, right? 213, 196. This one way down there, that was I think I was sick at that time. And then we up 170s, 190s, back up to 204, and then down to 203, down to 200, down to 187, and that was the point where we actually had lost 100 pounds, right? So from 287 to 187, and then 188 up to 195, and then down to where we are now, 184. So the reason that I'm going through that is because I want you guys to realize that the general trend is what we're looking for, the trend to be in the downward direction. You will have fluctuations up and down, right? But over the course of time, if you're starting up here, over time, we want you down here, right? But that's not going to be a linear graph. It's going to be a graph that does this and does this and does this and does this. But notice we're still heading in the direction of the weight goal and the metabolic goals that we're setting. So as you're walking down this path, if you see your weight go from 190 down to 185 and then back up to 187, you've not failed. Right? What we want to go 190, 185, 187, maybe 184, maybe 186, maybe 183, right? So what we're doing is we want that weight heading in that direction. We tell people half a pound to a pound a week is what you should be losing. If you're on a GLP or if you're in a weight program, then you should be losing weight faster than the half a pound to a pound a week is what we expect. But the general trend for that should be in that direction. And the beauty of all of this, is that the things that we're getting, right, the metabolic improvements that we're seeing, the metabolic improvements are really just side effects of us being healthy. Now, I know a lot of people come because they want to lose weight. They come because they want to improve their blood sugars. They come because they want to get their blood pressure and their cholesterol better, right? And those are very good goals. But if you are becoming healthy, you will have improvement in all of those parameters. And so the path that we're on is, how do we reverse our metabolism? How do we improve our metabolism? That is a healthy path. And all of those downstream things, high blood pressure, high blood sugars, high cholesterol, fatty liver, obesity, polycystic ovarian syndrome, all of those things get better as we work on being healthy. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead, and as we have been doing, I am now, like I said, 33 hours into this week's fast. I want to do a quick check-in with you so that we talk a little bit about where we are. And this is because I want you to be doing this on your own at home when you're not with us, or if you're in our community. I want you to be checking in with each other so that you're setting yourself up for the best possibility of success. And so three areas I want to talk about: physically, mentally, and emotionally. These are also three of the domains of health. Right? You'll recognize those. These are the three places where people tend to have the most challenges. So let's go ahead and walk through that right now. So at 33 hours, the question is, how am I feeling physically? We finally got the air fixed. Yay! So I rested well. And so physically, I'm feeling good. This morning when I woke up, so yesterday morning, let me go back to yesterday morning. Yesterday morning I woke up. So remember, we started the fast yesterday and was feeling very energetic, got into the fast overnight, got good rest, woke up this morning and have been pretty energetic as I move through the day. So right now I'm rested. I am doing a good job of hydrating. Now, I did call my wife earlier today early in the morning. I was at office and went into the office and called her and said, hey, I'm feeling kind of out of sorts right now. So we chatted for a little while. I think I just needed to hear her voice. Chatted for a little while and then got into the rest of the day, and the rest of the day was amazing. Okay, so physically doing well. I'm not feeling as though I am weak or tired. I'm not feeling as though I'm walking through molasses or like I hit a wall. Mentally, that usually goes along with the physical. So if you're doing well in one area, it tends to translate into the others. But if you are not rested, that has a big profound impact on what goes on with your thought process. There are times when you're tired and it's like you can't even think. You're grasping for words. You can't remember anything. So that has a big part to play with how we're doing physically, and particularly when we are not rested. One point, let me go back to physical for a minute. Not feeling lightheaded, sweaty, dizzy, palpitations, those types of things. That, if you're feeling those and you're in the fast, that may be a sign that you need to get better hydrated. Right? So if you're feeling those, remember the heart has to go faster. If the volume in your body, if the blood in your body is lower, the heart goes faster to make sure it's maintaining good oxygenation and good nutrients. Right? So if you're feeling that, work on hydration. And then emotionally, lots of good things happening in the community. As you guys saw, people are having great benefits, losing weight, getting off medications. In the office, I'm seeing patients and clients who are having amazing results. Personally, physically, I'm having amazing results. And I did get my blood work today because I've got my physician's appointment coming up here in a couple of weeks. So I went ahead and got it. I don't know what the blood work results are going to be, but we'll come and we'll share that with you. But I'm excited for that. I love when I go to see my doc, particularly when things have been going well. And then here in the community, the places where you're getting to plug in, we've made some changes, we've streamlined things, and so I'm just excited that you are beginning to see in your spaces. I shouldn't say beginning, but you are seeing those benefits in your spaces. Limitless living is now taking wings and going to different places. You guys saw me. I was in Birmingham a couple months ago, with the Limitless Living lecture series that we did down in Birmingham. We've got the Limitless Living health series that we're doing in some churches in the area. And so just lots of good things. And then personally, my son was in the office with me working this summer. And that was amazing. You don't know what it's like to watch him come into the office, learn the things that we do in the office, and then to see him interacting with patients and triaging them and getting blood pressures and asking them questions about their health so he can fill in the charts. And sometimes he catches me while he's like, I'm watching him and he's like, what? I said, I'm just watching, right? So I'm off to the side. I tried not to be that parent. So I let him have his own space with the team and develop his own relationships with the team. And that was just an amazing thing for me. So loved it. All right. So let's go ahead and let's say hello to a couple more other people, and then we'll get into our discussion. I do see, what's up? I see one of our community members that we've not seen for a little bit. So let me pop this up. Let's see, where was I? Okay, so Steve says, great, Cornelia. There are GKI meters online. Yes, Steve, thank you for putting that. So if you are interested in the GKI and your particular meter doesn't calculate it like the one I have does, you can get online and you can plug in what your ketones are and what your glucose are, and it will give you that. But if you don't even want to mess with that, you get a calculator. Whatever the blood sugar is, simply divide it by 18, and then divide that number by your ketones. So remember, take blood sugar, divide it by 18, and then divide that number by what the ketones are, and you'll get what the GKI is. All right? And Cornelia says, thank you. Thank you. Yay, Jennifer. And then Lightworks, y'all. This is one of our community members. Hey, man, thank you for coming through. Say evening all. I'm a night owl tonight. I miss you guys. We miss you as well, man. But thank you for coming through with us. Cornelia says, "Hey, Lightworks, we missed you too." And then Claudio, best viewers. So thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for hanging out with us. All right. So let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's get into our discussion for this evening as we continue our path down the trek to be healthy. So let's do that. Let's do that right now. All right. So this path that we've been on has been an amazing one, right? So we've been talking through the process of becoming healthy. And the reason that we want to become healthy is because we are interested in living as long as possible and being as healthy as possible. That's our goal. The question, though, is why? When my wife does her coaching, she does an exercise that's called 7 layers deep. And the 7 layer deep question, and we've done it to some extent here as well, is you ask a question and you get an answer to that question. And then you ask a question as to why that's the answer. So, hey, I want to get my car fixed. Well, why do I want to get my car fixed? I want to get my car fixed because I'm going on a trip. Why am I going on a trip? Because I'm getting ready to take my family somewhere. Why are we taking my family somewhere? Because my son, he needs to go, right? So you're getting lower and lower and lower until we uncover what the real reason is. The real reason is I just didn't want to get the car fixed. I want to get the car fixed so that we can arrive at our destination. And so the same thing here is, why do we want to reverse our metabolism? Why do we want to improve our metabolism? And for most of us, it is that we want to have a long, healthy life. Or, hey, I don't want to be in pain. Or whatever that first question is. But let's take the one about wanting to be healthy and wanting to have long life. Why is that the case? Well, I want to be around. I want to be alive. Well, why do I want to do that? Well, I want to be here because my daughter's pregnant. And I want to see my grandchild being born. Or, hey, we just had a kid and I want to see him grow up or see her grow up. Or my son is in college. I want to see him grow up and take his place in the world. The why. The why drives what we do. And if we're going to play our own game, right? Play our own game, which is part of the series, then what we need to do is we need to understand the bigger why of what we're doing. That's a whole nother conversation. But here we are, that we are using the tools that we've been given. We're diving into the 33-hour mark of fasting. Why fasting? Because fasting is an amazing way to reset the body. It basically gets everything ready for the benefits that are coming from the things we're implementing in our lives. So fasting says, hey, there's a bunch of stuff that's going on that right now isn't functioning the way we want it to function. But let's go ahead and let's get you ready. Let's get the hormones balanced. Let's get you into ketosis. Let's get your body ready to switch from glucose to burning fat. Let's get all of that in space so that when we begin implementing and begin installing the things that we've learned, then we are able to do that without any problems. So at 33 hours, why 33 hours? Because this is the point where fasting stops being theoretical and it starts getting real. So many of us can go 6 hours, can go 8 hours. Many of us can go 12 hours. In fact, most of us do 12 hours because you don't eat after, say you have dinner at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and you don't eat again. And then, you're up, go to bed about 8, 9, 10 o'clock, and you sleep. And you wake up in the morning, and a lot of us skip breakfast. So right there, if you're skipping breakfast, you've gone probably 12 or more hours of no eating. But as we begin stretching that longer to 14 hours and 16 hours, in fact, you want to hear something that is interesting in our conversations. Most of us go for 12 to 14 hours a day without eating. Because like I said, we go to sleep and we wake up the next morning and we skip breakfast. And so it's usually 12, maybe 14 hours later before we have our first meal. And a lot of people pride themselves on saying, well, I don't usually eat breakfast. I'm not a breakfast person, right? We do that. But listen what happens. The moment someone tells you to fast for 12 hours, your brain says, no, I can't do that. But we've been doing it. But just the thought of having to do it, all of a sudden this wall goes up. But at 33 hours, it's no longer theoretical. It's actually real. The glycogen is gone. Your body is transitioned to fat burning. Ketones are going up. Autophagy is active. But more than what's happening in your blood is what's happening in your beliefs. This is where we find out if we're following a plan or still clinging to survival. So we're going to take a few moments and we're going to examine what 33 hours is all about. Our strategy, our structure, our self-talk, because fasting doesn't just heal the body, it exposes blueprints. All right, so let's jump in and let's get right to it. So when we talk about fasting, right, let's talk first about the science of fasting. So at 33 hours, your body is in a deep physiological shift. Your insulin is low, ketones are climbing, you're fully entering into that fat burning state. Autophagy is actively cleaning out old damaged cells. That's why I said fasting is that reset. But beyond that, something powerful is happening, and it's happening up here in the mind. This is the phase where mental clarity begins to peak. As the body is developing more and more ketones, cortisol levels have stabilized. Your brain is no longer running a roller coaster on sugar highs. It is steady, it's calm, and it's focused. Remember, when we're running on sugar is fluctuating all the time. So insulin and glucagon are fighting back and forth to get the sugar up, and then the sugar begins to drop because the insulin came out, and so it goes down, and the glucagon has to come out and has to pull out more sugar. Right, so there's always this roller coaster that's happening when it comes to burning sugar. But when we're burning ketones, when we have shifted to beta oxidation, that's not the case. It is a purer, most of us have, and if you believe the studies, about 100,000 calories left. And a lot of that is stored in the fat cells, and now the body's breaking that down and is chopping it up. You may feel sharper in your thought process, but you may also feel a little bit more vulnerable. And why is that? Because as the noise of food quiets down, the noise of life gets louder. Notice what I said. As the food noise gets quiet, then life now gets louder. And it's not that life gets louder, it's that life was already loud, but the food was quieting down the noise that comes from the food, from life. And so because the food is no longer there, it is no longer the thing that you get to go to. Like this morning, I mentioned to you that I went to the office and I called my wife and I said, hey, I'm feeling a little out of sorts. Do you know what I normally would have done? I would have gotten something to eat. Yep. Cadbury chocolate, Ben and Jerry's ice cream, maybe a bag of chips, Maybe I would have even gone to the cafeteria. And here's the thing. It actually doesn't have to be much, right? Because a stick of gum. I'd pop a stick of gum in my mouth because I needed something to distract me, to help me feel better. So old cravings will show up. Unresolved thoughts will show up. Suppressed emotions will show up. They all start to come, they all start to bubble up because before it was quiet. It's kind of like if you suffer from any kind of pain, right? Chronic pain, if you suffer from neuropathy, if you suffer from anxiety, during the day when you're busy, you usually can get through it because your mind is distracted. It's on the job, it's on the people that you're around, it's on all the things that you're doing. But the moment that you get home, it seems like things get worse. Why? Because the brain now no longer has those things that's keeping it busy, and all it has now to concentrate on are the things that are surfacing. So fasting at 33 hours reveals how you cope, how you plan, how you buffer, and how well your current system is serving the life you say you want. Is it serving the life you say you want? So that is the science. That's the science. Well, how about the blueprint beneath the surface? So most of us think we're improvising our way through life. That's our belief. But the truth is, you already have a system. It's already built. It's been designed. It's been refined. It's been tweaked. And it is now ingrained in you. And when you are just allowing life to happen, the system that's running is the one that you've designed, the one that you've installed, and the one that's been there by default. Even if it's chaos, even if it's inconsistent, it is a system. At 33 hours, fasting becomes a diagnostic tool, and here's what it reveals. If you're craving snacks, is it hunger or is it habit? Is it hunger or is it habit? What is the difference between hunger and appetite? What's the difference between physical hunger and psychological hunger? The HEAT model gives us the ability to identify the categories of things where our bodies are, where we're pushed, where we find ourselves using food for non-nutritious reasons. It reveals if you feel tired, is it physical fatigue or an emotional pattern? I'm up at night, I'm lonely, I watch TV, and I eat. If you're thinking about quitting, is it discomfort? This is what it reveals, or disconnection from your why. This moment shows you your rhythm, or it also shows the lack of rhythm. Inside Limitless Living, we talk about rhythm, alignment, and structure. Rhythm, alignment, and structure. And that is right here is where you start to see what's the aligned part of you and what's just inherited noise that comes from other people and what they've told us that we need to do. And as you heard me say often, you don't need more discipline, you need a different design and you need a different system. Systems will work, but randomness doesn't work. And so that is this idea of what is going on? What's going on? What's the blueprint that we have below the surface? Is it one that we've designed, or is one that's there by default? And so how do we play our own game? How do we play our own game? So let's tie this to a bigger story. We've been in the Play Your Own Game series, right? PYOG, where we challenge the rules we've been handed. At 33 hours, you realize this isn't about proving anything. You're not trying to prove anything to me. You're not trying to prove anything to the community. You're not trying to prove anything to anyone else out in the world. At 33 hours, you're building something inside of you. And so as we walk through the fasting, as we put those spaces together, it's not about the challenge of, okay, I'm going to show them I can fast for 24 hours or show them I can fast for 36 hours. It is what's going on in here. It's about the reversal. It's about the improvement that you are creating inside of you. And in this window, you get front row seats to the strategy that you've been following. So let me ask you, who designed your blueprint for your health? Who wrote the script for how to handle discomfort, for how to nourish yourself, for how to pause? Who taught you that ice cream would make you feel better? Who taught you that chocolate is the go-to? Where did that come from? When did it start? This stage of fasting shows you whether you've been white knuckling it with diet culture games, or whether you've been designing something that actually supports you. Now, what do I mean by white knuckling? I know that there were times when I went to the doctor and my blood sugars were out of control, or my cholesterol was high, or my weight was up. And so I went home and I said, by God, they told me that if I got to get these blood sugars under control. So I'm not going to eat that thing anymore. I'm not going to have the chocolate. I'm not going to have the ice cream. I'm not going to buffer with that food. And I went home and I said, I'm not going to do it. 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 And you know what? It worked for a while. You've heard me tell the story about living in Ohio and deciding I'm not eating Ben & Jerry's ice cream, which, by the way, is, Cherry Garcia. And didn't eat any for a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, almost the entire year. Because I was white. I was like, by God, I'm not going to do it. Because I was going to be strong. I was motivated. Until that day when my wife sent me to the store to get something totally unrelated. And I'm walking by, they have the end caps. And I'm walking by and the freezer said on it, Ben & Jerry's ice cream, Cherry Garcia, buy one, get one free. And my brain said to me, hey, Dwain, you know what? We've been pretty good. We haven't had any for an entire year. You deserve this. And when that happened, I lost my mind. Because remember, when we're white knuckling it, when we slip or we fall or we get off the ranch or we get off the rails, right? Whatever the phrase is that we use, we don't just usually slip to normal, do we? Because what have we been doing? There's so much tension that's pulling us to one side. It's like that pendulum, right? And we've pulled that pendulum way over here because we're not doing anything. We've thrown all of the carbs out of the house. We've gotten rid of all the pasta. We're never going to eat bread again. We're never going to eat rice. I'm not ever going to touch another cookie, right? That's what we do right here. But when that pendulum goes down, when that thing called stop happens, that pushes you in this direction, we don't come and we don't stop right here, do we? Because it's a pendulum, right? What happens? It goes from here and it goes way over here. So the question is, who designed? Are you white knuckling? Or are you aligned? Are you living your own life? Are you playing your own game? And if it was designed by somebody else, this is the moment to change that. This is the moment where you get to change what you've been doing and say, no, I'm going to do it a different way. So playing your own game. So let me give you a couple of things, right? It's a challenge and a tool. A challenge and a tool. So grab a pen. Grab a piece of paper. And I want you to write this down. If I keep living this blueprint, I will eventually blank. So if I keep living the blueprint that I'm currently following, I will eventually blank. And remember, the blueprint is a design that if we follow it, what we're going to end up with, what we're going to get is what is on the picture, what is on the box. Kind of like going to the store and buying something, right? And you see how they put it together. It's on the box, and you open the box, and there's that blueprint is the instructions. And what that says is if I follow these instructions, if I follow this blueprint, when I'm done, the thing I end up with is going to look just like what's over here. So I can't expect for what I end up with to look different from the box if I follow the blueprint. So I want you to envision that. So if I keep following the blueprint that I have right now, the one I'm working on, I will eventually blank. That's the first thing I want you to write. Number 2, if I redesign my approach, if I change what I'm currently doing, I could finally blank. If I change what I'm doing, I can finally play with my kids. If I keep doing what I'm doing, if I change my approach, I can finally go on that vacation. If I change what I'm doing, I can finally go visit my daughter. I can finally have that surgery. If I change what I'm doing, I can finally blank. What is the blank? Because the blank is what will push us. The blank is the reason. The blank is the why. The blank is why we do what we do. Remember, you can't outrun a faulty system, but you can rewrite it, you can change it, you can reset it, you can install a new system. And this 33-hour checkpoint, it's the perfect moment to start. Now I want you to breathe that in. I want you to pull that into your thought process. What does that mean for you as you are continuing walking in the space of trying to be healthy? Because this isn't about food anymore. Not about food. It's about freedom. And the freedom comes when you are able to live in a way that aligns with what you want, aligns with how you roll aligns with how you move. So if you're 33 hours in right now, I want you to pause and I want you to ask a couple of things. What is this stage teaching me about the way I show up? Mm-hmm. What rhythm, that why, what rhythm supports me? And what reactions sabotage me? What would it look like to stop surviving and start designing? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. And if you can sit in this moment and listen, you're already playing a different game. You're playing a limitless one. And after all, that is our goal, to not allowing anything from outside to prevent us from doing what we need to do. Nothing from inside, but showing up with our best self, our best health, and the best plans for our lives. And when you do that and continue living limitlessly, man, the sky, y'all, is the limit. All right, and so 33 hours into this week's fast, we continue moving through the space. We will have our check-ins as we go into the rest of this week. Make sure you join us for those check-ins as we do during the day, right around 1-ish. Sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later. Tomorrow we'll be checking in at 48 hours. And then, of course, tomorrow night we'll be here at 56 hours as we continue walking down the space. I see some of you guys out there. Let me go ahead and pop over and get some of these comments back up. So Jennifer says, A1C done last week, 5.6. Jennifer, what? Y'all, Jennifer is one of our community members that has a great garden, and she's always giving us all good tips. So Jennifer, thank you for coming through. And I'm proud of you. I mean, that is amazing. Congratulations on that A1C. Lightwork says, great job, Jennifer. Cornelia says, yay, Jennifer, congratulations. Of course, Jennifer saying thank you for to everyone. Remember that we are here in this space building everything that we do on the Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. I educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcasts. All of that is with the intention of changing our mindset, to give you a different perspective, to help you to understand how your body works. And so you then get to make decisions based on that understanding, because you will make much better decisions if you understand everything, if you understand what's going on inside your body. If you understand what's happening, you will make better decisions. And so giving you a different perspective, helping you to understand that you have the ability to make choices that will set you up for success. We educate, we empower. So the tools that we have, the 100-day walk to consistency, the strength, strategy, and mindset, the fasting check-ins that we do, the show that we have right now, the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, Balance Bites, all of those are tools that allow you to implement the things that we're learning. So when you come, get involved. Remember, the plan is called the Health Action Plan. The things that you hear, the things that you see, I love the fact that you're watching. I love the fact that you're listening, but I want more for you to take those and want you to implement them into your life. And then we empower. We educate, we empower, and then we educate you. So we encourage you with the community that we are a part of. The community is an amazing one. You see the benefits that people are getting. You see the camaraderie that we have, the ability to support each other and cheer each other on, and even for us to be there if you're having some challenges. So don't think that you just have to tell us the good stuff. We don't just want to see the highlight reels. We want to know when you're having an issue and when you're having a struggle, so we can all come around you and we can all help to support you as you are moving down this pathway. Okay, so we educate, we empower, and we encourage you. When you show up, don't just show up by yourself. There are people around the country, around the world, that are now suffering from the disease process that comes from the metabolic dysfunction. And so you can, as you're getting benefit, as you're finding more information, as you're becoming clearer, as you're beginning to understand, I want you to share that, because that's what Limitless Living says, that it's not just about me, it's about me making my community better as well. So tonight, as you settle into this next phase of your fasting, don't just focus on the next hour. I want you to focus on the next layer of your growth. Let this fast be more than just not eating. Let it be a mirror. Let it be a map and your moment of reclaiming this pathway. You're not here to play by somebody else's rules. You're here to design a life that feels like yours. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so grateful that you are in this space. We are an amazing community. You are an amazing group, and I love being here in this space with you. We'll be back tomorrow as we do our check-in around 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon Central. We'll be back tomorrow night for our 56-hour check-in. And then on Friday, we'll be doing our entire fasting, from how do we prepare for the fast, how do we get through the fast, and then, of course, how do we end the fast. And you get to see what I'm going to eat for the very first time after 72 hours. Make sure you join us. Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central, we'll have video from the vault. And then, of course, on Sunday, we'll have This Week in Review. And then our anniversary, y'all, is coming up. 5 years right here on the channel. So we'll come up, we'll talk more about that as we move through the space. So we'll be right here, Dwain Woode MD Live, Monday, 7 p.m. Central. Have a great evening. Now go live a limitless life. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. Good night, everybody.